Before we get started with this review, I would like to talk to you guys seriously. In that, as all of you probably know by now, the FCC had voted to repeal net neutrality, which is a very, very big thing for all that will affect all of us. However, just because they voted to repeal it, does not mean it's going to be passed per se. First, it has to get through Congress and the Senate. And so there is still a chance to keep, net neutrality as it is. So, I want everyone to, call your representatives, call your, people, the people in your states that are in charge. The big thing here and why I'm doing this is because the thing is that I don't, when I started my channel, I made this kind of vow never to get really into politics because that's just a giant shitstorm, let's be frank. But this is something I feel like I can't, none of us can avoid. It's going to affect all of us, so I decided this is going to be the one and only time I'm ever going to bring up politics because this is going to be a shitstorm if it gets through, guys. I can't stress this enough. So, if you, obviously if you don't want, big companies running the internet and censoring everything, I suggest, getting to the phone or texting or calling your state representatives. Do whatever you can to help fight this every stretch of the way. We won the battle. They won a battle, but they didn't win the war. So, just keeping that in mind. So, having said, just wanted to throw that out here. So, having said that, let's get on with the Star Wars The Last Jedi review. Now, in order for me to talk about this review on a whole, to properly talk about this, I'm going to need to do spoilers. However, I am going to do a quick non-spoiler review and talk about all the stuff here that, that I'm just going to talk about some non-spoilers. Sorry, I'm tripping over my words. It's like 1 in the morning. I saw this at a 10 o'clock special showing with my dad, and yeah, my brain's kind of on the frayed ends of sanity. I think I just quoted a song. Yep, sure did. Anyway, so let's talk about, I'm going to do this first half non-spoiler. What did I think of the movie? Really good. This is unlike any Star Wars movie we've seen. Rian Johnson is certainly had an amazing direction for this film. He had this brilliant kind of look to this film. There's just some stunning sets. The opening space battle is just awe-inspiring. The ground battles, the fight sequences in general are really good. Everything in here is shot perfectly. There's just some beautiful texture in here. There is some great character stuff for Poe Dameron, and Leia really shines, and it really, I'm gonna be straight with you guys. I almost cried 4 times in this movie, and 4 separate occasions. I nearly goddamn cried in the theater. There's just some great character moments, and 2 of those moments was with Luke and Leia. There's some amazing moments in here. If you didn't like Adam Driver as Kylo Ren in the first movie, that really changes. That certainly changes. I will say that right now. Yeah, Rey's also really good in here. I like the story of how it goes around here, and how they further explore her character. That was really cool. So I really enjoyed that. Luke was really fun. It was really nice, and I'm actually cool with old man Luke being all grumpy and shit, because you'd have to understand that in his perspective that, his life ever since becoming a Jedi has kind of been one shitstorm after another, in that this is a dude who has literally, since the day he found out he was sensitive to the Force, his aunt and uncle died, his dad was Darth Vader, he got shocked senselessly by the Emperor, and then when he tried to restart a Jedi Order, the Jedi Order, his nephew kind of turned on him. I'll go further into that in the spoiler review. And there's some great stuff in here. And I love there's a character moment between him and R2 that just made me go, aww. Anyway, so, Poe was really great in here. I really enjoyed the character development with him, considering he didn't really have a lot in the first movie. Finn, I'm going to talk about Finn and Rose. Now, don't get me wrong, John Boyega and, oh god, I'm forgetting the actress's name, who plays Rose in here, they have some great character stuff to themselves. Having said that, though, their story's pretty frickin' superfluous. I'm not even joking. Like, their whole Canto Bight is a really cool location. It's nice to see underworld, kind of the seedy gambling underworld stuff like we had in, the original trilogy. But this kind of felt really superfluous, and it didn't really, you could honestly go to the bathroom and you wouldn't really miss much. The real stuff is really when they're on Snoke's ship. So, also in terms of other new characters, Benicio del Toro is CJ. I like the character stuff with him. He was a lot of fun. Also, Vice Admiral Holdo. I want to read like a comic or a novel about this character because seriously, the moment she came on the screen and gave that speech, and the further stuff she did, I was like, you right man, dude, Holdo for the win. So yeah, I've and I'll go more into spoilers with Holdo. With Admiral Holdo, but I was like, yeah, I'm on board with this character, like, right from the get-go. I want a comic, I want a novel, give me the works. So, yeah. Carrie Fisher, it's heartbreaking to talk about Carrie Fisher. It's knowing that this was her last movie, and the last performance as Leia. But there's just some beautiful moments with her and Luke. And again, it really tugs at your heartstrings, especially one scene. There are some downsides to this movie. There are some serious downsides to this film in that, okay, Disney, I said this with Thor Ragnarok, and I'm gonna say it here again. Pull back on the humor, please. Because there's some just humor moments that made me go, well, you just killed that moment. Great. Same thing with Justice League. I know Justice League's not Disney, obviously, but it was the same thing I had in Justice League and Thor Ragnarok. Disney, filmmakers, stop throwing in shameless amounts of humor. There is some good humor in here and there, but there are some points where I'm just like, oh, god damn it. Especially one scene with Rey and Kylo, and I was like, oh, god damn it, thanks. You just ruined the scene with that. That's wonderful. So the humor was like hit and miss with me, very hit and miss. Even more than Thor Ragnarok, I felt. But that was just me. That's just me. The other thing is that, like I said, Finn and Rose's story is a little superfluous until they get to Snoke's ship. There is some stuff, like, especially if you really were hoping, like I was, for more Phasma stuff, good frickin' luck with that, because there's literally nothing, there's only slightly more with her in here. And I'm starting to see why she got a novel and a comic to herself, because that does more for her character than in this frickin' movie. Same with Snoke. Yeah, shocking. Snoke is a really terrifying presence, but there's, I can't talk more until I get to spoilers, so, yeah. Snoke's a terrifying presence because it's almost like the Emperor, in that he's so powerful, he can just laugh at everybody at just how goddamn stupid they are compared to him, and, yeah. But, yeah, there's not a lot of screen time with him as well. But having said those flaws, there's some great character stuff, some great action, just a lot of stuff that I think the good outweighs the bad, in my opinion, with this film. So if you're a Star Wars fan, like I said, to me, this feels like unlike any Star Wars film I've ever seen before. So please, do yourself a favor and go check this out. Because, dear God, this movie was something to behold on the big screen. Anyway, so this is the point where I'm going to start talking about spoilers, so if you do not want to be spoiled, I'll give you guys a couple seconds to, like, back out and do whatever. But if you do want to be spoiled, just keep on watching. Okay, so I'm guessing if you're still here, you want to be spoiled. So, let's start off with stuff with Snoke. Yeah, can we just all agree that, you know, all the stuff is like, ooh, who's Snoke? Where did he come from? What's the whole mystery? Well, you're gonna have to wait for a novel or comic because the dude frickin' dies real quick. I mean, how he dies is really surprising, and, you know, having Kylo be the one to kill him was something interesting, and having all this stuff because Rey has this moment where she's like, no, I can turn Ben back to the light, he's our real hope, and then it turns out, no, Ben's not Ben's not who you thought he was, that was the same thing you thought with Luke, and now we have Supreme Leader Kylo. Yeah. And I really did, like I said, there's some great moments in here with Kylo, and, you know, where he is as this character of he's finally figuring out who he is, and now that he has all this power, he's like, yeah, I'm in charge now. I am the captain now. No, it'd be more like, look at me. Look, I am the supreme leader now. So, Hux also doesn't get a lot. He's more like a whipping boy in this movie, which is totally fine, because that's kind of what I've always thought him to be, especially watching Force Awakens, and how some of the novels, especially with his father in Aftermath, is kind of like, so I was like, you know what, I'm at peace with him getting thrown around like a bitch. Anyway, but that was the thing that just made me go, oh, all that a lot of people, Snoke theorists are going to be really pissed off after seeing that. Yeah. The other thing is Rey's parents, which the reveal that, oh, they were nobody special, they were just a bunch of alcoholics who sold you off into slavery to get money and are buried in some nameless grave on Jakku. You knew it from the get-go, but you didn't want to admit to yourself. At some point, you're going to think that's maybe a cock tease, that, you know, this is what we've built up to, but really, I think that's kind of a cool idea, is that, you know, Rey comes from nothing. You know, she comes from nothing, and her whole thing is that she always had this perfect idea of her parents, and that wasn't to come to pass. That's the same thing with Kylo, in the way that, you know, that's what he thought of his father, his mother, and especially Luke, because Luke tried to kill him the moment he found out that, you know, Snoke's influence was already on him. So that was, that was a big moment for him, is that, you know, we both have this kind of nothing between us, and that's where we are as people. So that was really awesome. Especially, I enjoyed the team-up between Rey and Kylo against the Praetorian Guards, and then when it did the whole thing of, when you think Kylo's going... Because the whole thing with, from the get-go, especially what Abrams wanted to do with Kylo, is that this is a guy who, in Force Awakens, we see the awakening of the light inside Rey and the darkness inside Ben Solo. And for a moment you think, oh, is he gonna get redeemed? Oh, we're totally doing that. How are we gonna go? Oh, he's not. Holy shit. Also, speaking of the moment that kind of, the jokes ruin it for me, is when... throughout the movie, we have Rey and Kylo who are connected through the Force, and there's a moment where she's talking to him, is like, could you put on like a shirt or something? And yeah, Adam Driver got buff for this role, or should I say, he's totally shredded, like a 16-pack or something. Kudos if you got that reference. Yeah. Oh, that's great. But anyway, so in terms of other things that were surprising, was seeing CJ betray Rose and Finn. That was all because we all thought, oh, he's totally a good guy. Nope. Nope, that's not happening. What else? Like, again, there's some, like I said, with Luke, it's nice to see that, you know, where he finds out that he's learned over the years that he is not infallible. He's not some great legend. He is simply a man who really screwed up and failed his nephew to a whole big, to a whole other level. And what made my jaw drop was seeing when he's about to destroy the little, the place where they're holding the books. Yoda shows up as a Force ghost, and this is how powerful Yoda is. He manages to call down lightning from the sky to strike it while he's still a Force ghost. And Yoda brings up this whole point of, look, this is the point of being being called a master. You're held larger than life. That's the point of us, and, what more can you do? And it was really, can I just say, it's really nice to see Puppet Yoda again. It's really nice to see that. Just no CGI Yoda. It was just fun to see that. Yeah. Again, with Holdo, she was really cool. Because here's a character, and for a moment you think you're gonna hate her, but then you realize, no, Poe is really in the wrong here. Like, really in the wrong, and Holdo has a plan, and she can't have Poe's, anger and, personal feelings kind of override her whole plan. So I thought she was a really cool character. So, like I said, I really want like a novel or comic centered around Holdo. That would be great. I have this weird feeling that Red Leader Antilles is also really digging Holdo as well. And also another thing is that I'm more than likely going to do like this giant review with Red Leader Antilles, Joel Davis, and Dr. Holocron on somebody, I think on Joel Davis's channel sometime very soon, a whole spoiler podcast, so that's where I'll get my further thoughts out. But anyway, oh man, there's just so much in here, and this, man, it's the longest Star Wars movie with good reason. But honestly, the whole thing with the Canto Bite stuff, I feel like you could have just, done the whole thing without the whole message of don't be a dick to animals. We get it. It's basic. If you're a basic human being, don't be a dick to animals. Anyway, so I was really happy that we didn't redeem Kylo, because again, I really was hoping they would stay true to the whole, this is the darkness rising within him, and now we've reached the level with him in it. And again, there's just some great stuff with Leia, and also when Luke dies and becomes one with the Force, oh, that was the moment I nearly cried, especially with him and Leia reunited. And just this conversation that just feels like brother and sister, reunited. Oh, that was another moment. It really, it just really feels like something new, like something unlike any other Star Wars movie. Is it 100% perfect? No. But having, like I said, I feel like the good outweighs the bad in this film. By a long shot. So I highly recommend this movie. It's it's just fucking brilliant, honestly. I think there's some great I think the personal character stuff in here is really well handled. Like I said, the humor could have been called back a bit, and I feel like, Snoke theorists and, who's raised parents theorists are going to be a little upset, and by a little I mean a lot. But having said that, though, in a way, well, I was kind of like a little let down that, here's Snoke, this big all-powerful being, and okay, where did he, alright, I guess I'll just wait for James Luceno to do a novel. Seriously, can we just get James Luceno to do a Snoke novel? Can we get that, please? That's what I'm hoping for. Anyway, I feel like there was something else I wanted to bring up with this, because I feel like I'm forgetting something. The Leia stuff of her possibly dying but then reaching out with the Force, that's totally fine. That's the other thing I like about this movie, is that it really knows how to play with the Force as a mystical element. It really knows how to play with it, and it also showcases how powerful Luke's become in the past 30 years, and how far he had come, because that's what I've really enjoyed about this new trilogy, at least for the 2 films he's in. And obviously I think Luke's going to be in it further as a Force ghost, but it really showcases that Luke has gone from some farmer boy to being a legend and almost larger than life figure that he had been told about by Ben Kenobi. But at the same time, he's like, yeah, I was full of myself, and in doing so, I inadvertently caused my nephew to be tainted by Snoke. So, yay me, right? Oh, man. But yeah, I could go on and on about this movie, and I'm pretty sure I will when I get to, do the review with Red Leader and all them. So, yeah, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of Star Wars The Last Jedi? Just comment below, let me know. Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? What are your thoughts for Episode 9, excuse me. So yeah, once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.